Yeah, hurling club talk this weekend. The first thing that happened after last week's show was I had a few people get on to me a little bit late about different things that happened last weekend. One was a tweet in from James Henry, and he said Éire Cork were 10 points down against reigning champions Selbridge after 40 minutes in the Clare hurling championship quarter final. They got it back to a point with time almost up. They were then awarded a penalty, and they decided to take a point to take the match to extra time, which is a very gutsy call. It was a gamble, but they won it in extra time.
Ah, brilliant. After coming from 10 down. Yeah, it's a gutsy call. After coming the whole way back, you'd be fair sickened if the penalty was stopped.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you, like, in fairness? I thought you were going to say to me there, I've seen penalties stopped when going for point attempts before.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When going for points?
Yeah, Shane Dooley fans did it in a Fela under 14 semi-final against Borough one year. He was going for a point from a 21 and it was blocked on the line. Sorry, Shane.
Another interesting one that I was sent during the week was that Paul Flynn, the wing forward for Dublin for many, many years, he scored 3 points for Fingallians in their Junior A quarter-final against Fogs at the weekend. They won 18 points to 1-7. That's in the hurling now.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Very good, yeah.
Right, so that teases up nicely for some of the games that are coming this weekend. And if you get any more stories like that, send them in and we'll read them out. In the Cork Senior Hurling Championship this weekend, Carricktool are against Ballyea and Bishopstown against Finbars. Carricktool and Ballyea both would have been looked at as sort of relegation contenders at the start of the year.
McCarthy's Carricktool, yeah.
Yeah, and now one of them's going to reach the semi-final. And but like they've avoided Imachilly, Glen Rovers and Sarsfields on the way, so yeah. Like Carrick, they won the county in 2011.
Totally out of the blue, by all accounts.
And Ballyea came up from the Premier Intermediate.
Ballyea, I wonder is Neil Ronan still playing for Ballyea? Actually, he probably is. But yeah, both would definitely be seen as major outsiders. But one of them gets a shot at a semi-final, and you wouldn't know if they were to avoid Imachilly in particular. You would have to say that Imachilly, Bishopstown, Glen Rovers, Sarsfields would be the four marquee sides at that stage.
The weekend after this now, it's going to be Bishopstown Newtown Shandram against Glen Rovers, Imachilly against Sarsfield. So Imachilly are looking for 3 in a row.
What was the stat last year? I think the 14 of the Imachilly boys had played senior county or been involved at senior county level at some different stage.
Yeah, they have a fairly ridiculous team.
It's a fair
forwards like Harnedy, like Paddy O'Sullivan, lads like that. So
boys would give out like that maybe the divisional side should be split or something like that, but this is kind of a bit of a freak. Like it's just that they seem to have got a couple of generations almost coming through together. Like it's almost like UCC or UCD in the hurling. Like it doesn't always happen like that way.
Do you like having those college teams in county championships?
Yeah, I haven't. I know that James Stevens got a fair bit of motivation the time to beat UCD that time, and Philly Larkin kind of made a run at Babs Keaton after the match for no apparent reason. But like if you're there will be some lads that would maybe move to Cork to be in college there, and that would be their club per se. So I don't see a problem there now. To be fair, it's only a problem when they win.
Bishopstown against St Finbars. Pat Cronin, I believe, playing quite well there, and I think he's knocking over plenty of scores.
Shane O'Neill, Bishopstown as well. I think he might be. Yeah, Pat Cronin was a strange kind of one. Like people would have looked at his inter-county career that it would have lasted for another 4 or 5 years, but he was kind of culled a couple of years ago. Yeah. Probably fairly harshly. Former Cork captain as well.
Goal scorer in the 2013 final.
Yeah, I was only looking at that the other day. Yeah, in fairness.
And Shane O'Neill is Bishopstown as well.
Another fella that was kind of let go
very quickly.
Yeah, and like he had a nightmare in the 2013 final, but like anyone can have a bad game. Like in general, he's a very, very good defender.
For years he was class. Tipperary Hurling Championship. So the winners of the last 5 titles, which were Clonlara, who won last year, and Thurles, who won the 4 before that, both of them could go out this weekend because they're both out of the county championship, and it's a divisional weekend in Tipperary. So of course you have to love the way Tip is. There's south, north, west, and no, there's no east. There's mid.
It's so backwards. It's like something from Killing a Scully. You're kind of living up to your reputation.
Yeah, a little bit. But like Sars, they've won 8 titles since 2005. They have a lot of cruciates. Billy McCarthy did it, Stephen Maher, Michael Cahill, the cornerback for Tip there for loads of years. Thurles are against Upperchurch. Both need to win this game. Upperchurch they're in trouble as well in terms of not coming through the county group. Church like to sew it into them. They don't fear Thurles at all. And
we've played Upperchurch now this year and last year, and I was very impressed. Now they took a fair hiding from Latmore last weekend, but they are an impressive enough side. They're no kind of outstanding kind of lads. Obviously James Barry would be one of the only ones that people would know, but they play to their strengths. They're a very kind of quick side, play a kind of smart ball into the forward, a lot of running off the shoulder and things like that. you'd still find it hard. If they'd been going well and had put it up to Lockmore last weekend, you'd think maybe there could be an upset. But Thurles are fairly odds on, and probably rightly so.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I think Thurles have been struggling. I just don't know if they're the same side this year. In the West, Cashel against Éire Óg and Anacarty, and then on Wednesday, Éire Óg Anacarty are going to be against Clonlara, and as I said, Clonlara are badly, like the reigning county champions could go out if they don't get through that group. Then in the North, there's 4 games going on because it's the North quarterfinals. So I'll just go through a couple of the fixtures and then we'll just stick on one. So Ballinair against Burgess, Lee against Roscrea, Lara against Temple Derry, but the big one is Killerwan against Killadangan. Killerwan have Eamon O'Shea in as coach. Like, he was in with them last year and he's in again this year. Niall O'Mara, Keane Darcy.
Keane Darcy hit 115 in one of the games. I think he got 1-7 or 1-8 from play.
Yeah, I think Seamus Hennessy's in goals at the moment.
Oh, good.
People might remember him from the Tip team in 2010. He came on, scored a point in the final. Brilliant underage player for Tip.
They're a fair, like, Kilruan are a fair outfit now.
Buggy O'Mara as well.
Buggy O'Mara, of course, yeah. They're a fair outfit. And then Killadangan on the flip side as well. So we talked here last week, like the 5 or 6 like really top players as well. Now, in fairness now, that's definitely to tie it around, and I think very, very hard one to call.
They're 2 teams now that could really push to win the county title. No North team since Toom in 2008. I know I forgot Toom there.
Especially this year, because, you know, Sars have been just a step above everybody, and it's been everybody tried to beat them. But they look like they're in a bit of trouble now, so there's a big chance for somebody to step up. Clonlara stepped up last year and kind of filled the breach last year. Either of those two would fancy their chances of doing so this year.
Yeah, and I actually don't think Thurles are going to get through to it because Drum and Lockmore are in there also. Yeah. So to win that and get back in, I don't think so. The Antrim Senior Hurling Championship semi-finals this weekend.
Both will be up there, no doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah.
But 3 different champions in the last 3 different years. So you're looking at Dunloy, Lochgiel and Cushendall, and St. John's are making a burst. So they're the 4 teams in the semi-final. But it's an absolutely insane setup in Antrim. And here's why, right? There's 2 groups of 3. Okay. So if you get to the semi-final on top of your group, you think you'd be playing the second team in the other group, don't you? No, you win your group in Antrim, you end up playing the top placed team in the other group. Absolute insanity. So it means Dunloy and Lochgiel, who won their groups, they're meeting each other.
That's bizarre. How does that make any sense?
Like, can you imagine someone in a county board meeting? Do you know what it get people thinking now? Do you know it'd be a right idea? And then they do that. So
Galway is like,
Dunloy beat Cushendall by a point, and their reward is that they have to face Lochgiel. So that's a bit of a joke.
Makes for a fair juicy semi-final now, to be fair.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is it's Dunloy's to lose in terms of like having great forwards. They mightn't be brilliant at the back, but I hear they're the team to look at here. Cushendall, I think everyone would just, it's Cushendall, Neil McManus, Aaron Graffin, who's back after a cruciate. He was out for 10 months there, but I believe he's hit the ground running. Like Cushendall, they were lucky to beat St. John's last year. And the thing about St. John's is they're the first genuine Belfast contenders in 15 years since Rossa.
That's brilliant to see, to be fair. Brilliant to see,
I don't think Belfast have won one in 44 years.
Okay.
So something like 44 years anyway. So that's interesting. Now, and the reason I'm going to bring up the Derry Hurling Championship is because there's more of that insanity going on. Right? It's not quite the same level. So this weekend, Schlockneil against Lavey and Dungiven against Ballinascreen. But there's 6 teams in the championship. And because in the past, the teams that are coming through the intermediate in Derry have been absolutely bet out the gate in the Ulster Intermediate, they've decided that 6-team championship, the teams that get knocked out of the quarterfinals, they therefore drop into the intermediate championship, and they'd have a better representative in Ulster. So it's quirky thinking. It's not as insane as Antrim, but it's fair.
It's almost an incentive to end up in intermediate.
Yeah, well, it keeps you going too. Like keeps you training. You're like,
but you'd wonder how you can drop back to the intermediate and still go on and represent them at provincial level then as well if they've played senior that year.
Well, there you go. Like, isn't it funny the amount of counties across the country that you think, geez, they're a brilliant hurling county, they should be doing well at all levels, in senior, intermediate and junior. The likes of Tip, they don't really win Munster titles in any grade all that often. You think they'd be going
but if you look at the amount of senior teams that they have in Tipperary, if that was split into 12, imagine the 13th best team in Tipperary probably winning the club intermediate All-Ireland every year.
And it probably comes back to what we were saying about the Dublin Championship the other day having way too many teams, that if they had a bit more in intermediate or senior B as it's called, then you'd have a much better
and they don't do anything at senior. They don't do anything in the intermediate or junior level, invariably at provincial level.
I'm nearly sure that there's something coming from the GA where you're going to be told you need to have 12 teams only in your senior championship, or something like a maximum of 12. Now, I don't have official confirmation of that, but that's something that I've heard is in the pipelines. And to be honest, I hope it is, because I think it would level it out.
And you know, Kerry win the junior and intermediate football Club All Irelands nearly every year as well, because there's not that many teams at senior, and their level of teams are so strong when you go down there like that. So yeah, it's probably something that is worth being looked at.
Yeah, there's some quarterfinals in the Limerick Championship this weekend, and just before I talk about the games that are on, Shane Dowling had it up on Instagram that he basically got a knee surgery, and he had the caption with it: "Now I'm broke up with 2 bad knees. I'll stand in goals for the junior Bs. I swear the 2 Johnnies wrote that song about my knees. I know I'll end up there soon, but I didn't think it'd be this quick." Hashtag post-op, I don't know what that means.
Post-op.
Post-op, jeez, I'm a clown. Hashtag microfracture, dodgy knees, road to recovery. So
he looks like he's been like a mummy there almost. He's covered in that much stuff. Yeah,
he had it up on his Instagram.
It must have been, and without being smart, it must have been very bad for him to undergo it at this stage, because they the Piercing will always have a chance of a run. Yeah. Into the winter, but he probably would see now he's left with no choice, and if he wants to hit the ground running at all next year, he has to get it done now.
Yeah. So Mick Ryan, the Tipperary man, won't be happy to lose him. Aaron Gallan as well. He's out for probably the whole lot of the Limerick Championship because he broke his jaw. Looking at the games that are on this weekend: Kilmallock against Ahan and Doon against Ballybrown. Kilmallock All Ireland finals in 2014, was it?
15. Shefflin retired retired from Kilkenny after they beat them in 15.
Yeah, they real non-performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, in fairness. Yeah,
they have the likes of Paddy O'Brien, Gavin O'Mahony,
Graham Mulcahy as well. Yeah, the Limerick Championship is particularly strong now as well. You look at Kilmallock, Doon, the Well, and Na Piarsaigh. Yeah, you'd imagine Kilmallock and Doon last year's county finals, of course, would come through that.
Yeah, Ahan, it's the Morrisseys, isn't it?
Yeah, the Morrisseys, yeah. Come on, I had the Spuds are boiling. That's what they always say anytime. There used to be signs up outside Castletroy. Yeah.
Doon against Ballybrown. Doon, Pat Ryan, Richie English, a few more, like pretty good team actually.
Darrell Donovan as well.
Geez, very good team.
You'd imagine it'd be Doon and Kilmallock coming through, but Ballybrown after coming on last couple of years.
The Clare quarterfinals. Now there's plenty of quarterfinals on this weekend. Davy Fitzgerald, he's involved with 6 Mile Bridge.
He's not involved.
Yeah,
by all accounts, up until a couple of weeks ago, he 80 to 90 sessions done with 6 Mile Bridge this year. So if you put that in, and this is from the horse's mouth, so if you put that in and mix that with the amount of sessions done at Wexford, you're basically talking about like hardly any nights left in the year.
So what else would you be doing?
Yeah, there's basically it's been 240 maybe nights so far this year. Yeah. He's probably been tied up maybe 215, 220 between 6 Mile Bridge and Wexford.
But I wonder, those nights where Wexford would be doing their gym sessions and what have you, he's not going to be travelling over.
No, probably not. But they're still doing at least three collective a week, at least, maybe 4.
But sure, the 6 Mile Bridge pitch should be only a hen's kick down the road.
True, yeah.
Tip down and have a bit of crack with the boys.
Still, you'd be fairly knackered after driving to Wexford 2 or 3 times a week. To be fair,
indeed. They need to get him a helicopter, don't they? I know the Celtic Tiger isn't there.
If JP was involved, he probably would be getting a helicopter.
So 6 Mile Bridge are against Éire Óg. The other quarter final is tasty as. Actually, before I do that, there's a refereeing issue going on this weekend in Clare. I saw Derek Lynch tweeting that rumours of a refereeing appointment row threatening to derail one of the weekend's quarter-finals in Clare. And Rory Hickey, who was a referee from Clare, perhaps he is still a referee.
Inter-county ref.
He tweeted, seems now that McGann, who's obviously named referee, declared himself unavailable to the fixtures meeting last Monday night and was still appointed. OMG, hashtag bit of clarity please, hashtag Clare GA.
That's quality.
It's
exactly the sort of thing that happens at Clonlara.
And if you're one of the teams who's playing this weekend, that's the very thing now. You're trying to get everything right. Let's play the referee right. Don't be out now. We don't know who it is.
Exactly.
Clara and Cratloe, that's Saturday at 2:15. That's a repeat of the 2009 final.
Clonlara,
Clonlara and Cratloe, yeah. Like Clonlara lost 3 finals. Their last 3 finals, 2009, 15 and 16. A lot of talent in that team.
I'm wondering, for the talent that they have, are they the biggest underachieving club in Ireland because they're not far off. If you go down through the talent,
Are Byrne not your club not massively underachieving?
We won 4
in the last 15 years.
We were in the last 15 years. We've won Leinster and been in an All Ireland club final.
Okay, last 10 years.
We're not underachieving. No, we're doing well with what we have.
Back to Clonlara then.
Back to Clon. Yeah, like if you go down through it, obviously Derek Conan is still playing some level with Clonlara now.
John Conlon,
Nicky O'Connell, Colin Galvin, Tots O'Connell,
Ian
Galvin. Like there's 6 or 7. There's the mainstays of a team. Yeah. Have they won county title?
Let me just check when the last one. Yeah, they won it in 2008 and they won it in 1919. Of course, who could forget?
But like that
against Scariff in the final.
For the quality that they have, one county title for that team is bizarre. Like, and it's not just. And I know from chatting to people that have been in around the setup down there, it's not just those 6 or 7. They have a strong squad and a strong team. But they just haven't seemed to be able to get over the line recently. Clare is competitive, but it's not as competitive as some of the other championships.
Yeah. Conor McGrath, Colin McInerney, Podge Collins, Dermot Ryan, Cratloe have a good team.
They do.
It should be a cracker.
They should probably have won another. They've only won the one county title as well, I think. And like they should probably be winning more for what they have too. To be fair, you know.
See, they won 2. They lost 3 finals actually. 2010, 2012 and 2018.
It's fair enough. They've been there about more.
Club, you know.
The year they were beaten in the Munster final in that epic by Kilmallock, weren't they in the Munster club football final that year as well?
Was that against
Crokes,
one of the Kerry teams?
Yeah, I think they were only beaten a point or 2, either in the final or semi-final.
Yeah.
Tough when you get to that level with Jewel at that level. I see it with Ferban, Belmont, and Ferban in the football in Offaly. It's difficult. You're literally playing week on week.
Yeah.
So the week in between, where if you're playing with Cratloe hurlers, you should be playing a practice game or playing a 15 on 15.
Well, you haven't picked up a ball.
And you're playing football instead, so it's difficult. Yeah, in fairness.
This weekend, I'll just run through some of the fixtures that are there. Liam Mellows against Castlegar, Portumna, who got hammered by Thomas's against Tommy Larkins, Gert against Tina Abbey Denairy, who's Matty Kenny's home club, Loughrea against Sarsfields, Kilnadima Leitrim against Capitagle.
Ollie Baker's with Capitagle this year, yeah.
Is he, yeah? And Portumna getting absolutely hammered by Thomas. It's going to be hard to come back. I think they are kind of slipping, aren't they?
They are. That's kind of they're down there kind of a relegation quagmire there at the moment. Like, and after such a bad defeat the last day, it could be hard enough to turn it around. They still have all the experience. Like we played them at the start of the year. Ollie Canning, cute as a fox, was corner forward, full forward. Like they still have that experience. But once you go down, it can be very hard to get back up. Like they're down this year. It's going to be hard to turn it around.
Well, I mean, it says it all that Ollie Canning's playing. He's 43 years of age. Joe Canning is turning 31. They're still relying hugely on him.
To be fair, any club team would be relying on him, you know.
But the point that I'm driving at is, in another 3 or 4 years, what's the story going to be? You know, who's going to lead that team? Andy Smith, Damien Hayes, all these class players. You don't replace those lads.
Yeah.
And in a small play, like I think John Madden is over them, who was with Michael Ryan, involved in Tip there in the last couple of years. Going to be very hard to turn that around. Andy
Smith's actually involved with Rhinus. He's a coach at Rhinus this year as well. Yeah, he's still playing. He played against us at the start of the year as well. But they are of a certain age profile.
Yeah.
Even Davy Canning was playing when we played him. You know, it's an older generation lads. They had a couple of young fellas, but it was an older generation. Like even when they were winning the Club All-Irelands, there wasn't much going on at underage. And I mean that in the sense that there wasn't much silverware at underage.
And for Burr, like when the great players started dropping off a little bit, was it very hard to kind of arrest the decline?
Yeah, it can be difficult. Yeah, it can be difficult because we're so reliant. Like we would have been so reliant, and Gary Hannafy would have been a perfect example. Gary Hannafy played the 011 final, and then he moved to Singapore, and like he was the puck out outlet for 15 years. Like, and then you had Brian Wheelit and you had Johnny P went well before that. You had Simon and Barry coming to the end as well. Brian Mullins is still going strong and still one of the best keepers in Offaly. But it can be difficult because in 2012 then we'd 4 or 5 lads parachuted in.
Yeah.
Ideally you wouldn't like to do it that way. You'd like to drip feed as 1 or 2, but sometimes you just have to do that.
Then Turlockmore against St Thomas's. That's the plum tie of Galway this weekend.
It's fair tie, yeah.
Like James Horan involved with Turlockmore a couple of years ago. I think they are a common club. They won the Fela. Was it this year?
They've won the last 2 Felas.
Yeah. Well, there you go. The last
and
2
would have won one in the last 8 to 10 years as well. Maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I think, as well. Like, so they're like you have Dahi Burke, Ronan Burke. They have a lot. We played them when Micheál Donoghue was over them as well, and even you could see plenty of potential then. as you say, when Horn was over them, like he was kind of reluctant to say that he was a hurling guru or anything like that. It was more from a performance.
Well, look at Pat Gilroy with Dublin.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, and like Anthony Cunningham going the other way, I think the two codes are somewhat interchangeable.
Yeah, if you have a couple of shrewd lads in that particular field, so Horn would have had even Barry Cullinan, who won under 20 All Irelands in both codes as a player. If you have a couple of guys that are, you know, sport specific, there are a lot of general principles that cross over between hurling, football and any sport.
So I think that's the main hurling fixtures we'll look at this weekend. If there are any good ties coming up next week, make sure to let us know, or if anything crazy happens over the weekend when we review the club weekend.
Something crazy happens every weekend.
It does, so make sure to let us know on Twitter at Shane Saint or ML Verney, isn't it?
ML Verney, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll feature it next week, and we'll read your name out with it too. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and click on the bell if you want notifications of when the next video goes live.